lot leading up to this moment. You have no idea. Just an hour ago, our new website, CandaceOwens.com, which we launched in part so we could live stream just this sort of content, underwent a very aggressive DDoS attack from France. Just last week, by the way, the media tried to paint me adjacent to a school shooter. I'm not kidding. Almost this last ditch pathetic DDoS attack on my character sent around the world. And of course, there is the legal threat that arrived to me from Elysee Palace. And I guess my question is, what is everybody so afraid of? It certainly cannot be a lie that has warranted this type of panic. Welcome at long last to an incredible series that we've put together for you right here on Candace.
I'm going to interrupt and skip through that weird sounding intro that she has, but it's dope. It's not a diss. Candace Owens, I don't want to piss off Candace Owens. Memo to self, do not piss off a pregnant Candace Owens. Otherwise, your dark secrets are all out there and ain't no coming back. This video, as you saw, opened up with Candace Owens. She stared straight into the camera and she's delivering on the bombshell question. And she says, grab some popcorn, put your seat up, get comfortable. I'm fearless. That's what that intro was about. She said, and her tone is accusatory, no nonsense. She dots her I's, crosses her T's. She's not in the mood. So she's looking at the reaction. We're going to get into, obviously, Brigitte Macron. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not French. I say Brigitte. No, not lingerie. Brigitte Macron. Is she a man or a woman? That's what we're really talking about here.
Receiving a legal letter from a sitting president of a foreign country is extraordinary. So extraordinary that it may have never happened before in human history, okay? A year ago, when I said that I would stake my entire professional career on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the current First Lady of France, was born a man, there were many people, of course, who did not believe me because that just sounds crazy. But even those people, thanks to Emmanuel Macron's strongly worded letter, which he had his legal team put together and ask me not to publicize, are now starting to pay a little bit of attention.
So Emmanuel Macron sent a letter. I looked it up. I don't think Candace Owens is exaggerating. In all of modern history, I was not able to find another case of a foreign head of state personally sending a 100-page legal threat to a YouTuber overseas. It's never happened before. That's exactly what happened to Candace Owens, though. It was a demand from President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte. Be careful how I say that. Brigitte, that she shut up about their most closely guarded secret. Everything I say here is going to be allegedly. I ain't making any claims. I don't want those problems from Emmanuel Macron and his man. The letter sent via Washington, D.C. So Emmanuel Macron sent the letter via a Washington, D.C. law firm. D.C., huh? The capital of America. Essentially tried to scare Candace into silence. You don't know Candace Owens very well, do you? She probably wasn't even going to do the series until she got the letter. But if the Macrons thought a legal ambush would intimidate her, they were clearly wrong. It backfired. Candace Owens went public. She said, okay, gloves are off. She laughed it off. Why did she laugh it off? Because the letter itself did everything except provide accurate proof to debunk her claims. In the video, Owens says the Macron's letter bizarrely insisted that Brigitte does not owe you proof that she is and always has been a woman. That's the whole argument here. So what's the letter for? In other words, it's trust us. Brigitte is a female. I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to independently verify that. I don't believe you, but I'm going to trust you. But we're not going to show any evidence. Just take her word for it. Owens rightfully, she found this pretty suspicious. The First Lady, if she has nothing to hide, why wouldn't she just simply disprove the crazy rumors and just have facts like, okay, Candace Owens, here's the cuckoo head. Here I am pregnant. Here's the picture. Check it if it's AI. Here's me in high school. I'm a girl. I'm a woman. Candace Owens is a lunatic. We haven't heard any of that. They keep dancing about it with this 100-page letter that doesn't do anything. Then they try to nitpick these minor details from Candace Owens. Oh, wow. Let's hear her talk about how she said in the court of law, she doesn't play.
You said in an earlier report that a picture from Brigitte's communion was recolorized. This is false. This reporting has caused Brigitte to have mental anguish. Okay. But as I said, their lawyers made a critical mistake because in order to prove defamation, you have to prove that somebody acted in reckless disregard for the truth, that they knew the truth and they made a decision not to publicize it. Instead, they wanted to just publicize lies, which is something that if you guys watch this show, you know that I do not do. I do not engage in it. Quite the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So by sending me a legal letter, they unintentionally provided me with a direct line, a direct link to ask Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron pointed questions. They can't pretend they didn't see our questions.
Let's go.
Okay. The majority of the questions that we asked them were simply yes or no. Those were the answers that we needed, with the promise that we gave them that if she answered the questions, we would fully report on the facts. So I want to show you some of these very simple 21 questions that we asked Brigitte Macron so that we could use our platform to put an end to her mental anguish, okay? We asked, is the little girl pictured in the communion photograph, allegedly from 1963, the Brigitte Macron that is currently married to President Macron? Did Brigitte Macron ever use the name Veronique? Can you account for all of the children from the Amiens family photograph and their current whereabouts? Did Brigitte Macron physically give birth to 3 children? These are easy questions, guys. Is Brigitte Macron the same person pictured in the Ozier wedding photograph? Did Brigitte Macron ever have a relationship with Veronique Drew? Would you please provide photographs of Brigitte Macron in the 1970s? Would you please provide school photographs of Jean-Michel Trogneau, a person they purport is her brother, and Brigitte, preferably together? When did Brigitte Macron first meet President Macron and under what circumstances? What were their respective ages when they met? Did the Macrons have an intimate physical relationship before President Macron turned 18? And if so, at what age did the relationship begin? Have your clients attempted to correct the French version of Wikipedia, which states that Brigitte Macron, regarding Brigitte Macron, quote, the age difference of more than 24 years between the two lovers causes a scandal in the Trogneau family, especially since their relationship could fall under the scope of Article 22727 of the Penal Code, which establishes the offense of sexual assault on a minor. Have your clients initiated legal action against the
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the A minor, the Kendrick Lamar song. Let's get back to Candace Owens.
National Pedophile and Child Emancipation Lobby, which cites Macron's relationship in its publication, Positive Memories, on a list of, quote, positive, loving relationships with children. Like I said, these are pretty simple questions. If you are a person and you are
Don't send letters to Candace Owens if you're not going to come proper. You got to come proper. You got to come better than that. You send a letter to Candace Owens. She got money. Candace Owens has money. She has time, and she does not take kindly to people who basically call her a liar. So if she has time, the money, the intelligence, the team, I mean, it takes an incredible team to put this stuff. She can't do all of this, to put this together. Then she has the delivery, the ability to cut through the noise and to get millions of views. I would probably act like she didn't exist. That would be a better role. That would be better than trying to send her a letter. And then she gave all these questions, and where's the mainstream media? If these questions are out of line, where's the mainstream media going after her? We don't hear any of that. So let's get into a little bit more of these questions. What were these 21 questions? You heard her read some of these out loud. Basic biological checks. No answer. I think you know where I land on this, whether I believe it or not. For example, Candace Owens asked if the little girl in that picture of the 1963 family communion photo is really the same Brigitte Macron who married Emmanuel Macron decades later. She inquired if Brigitte ever went by the name Veronique at any point. Did she give birth to 3 children? Straightforward questions. Only we all know this, and we can all have this opinion. Only a guilty person would dodge these questions. It's very simple. Be like, yes, 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 and we're suing you and pay us. It'd be that simple. I think she pretty much checkmated them right there. This is the intro of her. Right now, she has 3 videos. This is episode 0, the introduction. We haven't even. This is just the introduction. This isn't even the substance yet. She hasn't even gone full ham yet. Wow. She talked about the PDF file stuff. Man, this is wow. Let's get back to Candace Owens talking about a little bit more of the legal action stuff.
Who are going through mental anguish because people are talking about you being born a biological male, wouldn't you race to answer those questions? Yeah. Well, apparently they simply were not anguished enough to hire. They were anguished enough to hire and pay an American legal firm in DC to send us a 100-page lettered threat, but they simply were not anguished enough or could not muster the energy to answer 21 basic questions to put an end to the scandal. We received no response from them because we knew that we would not receive a response for them because they're lying. They are, in fact, lying to the public about Brigitte Macron's past identity. And a court case would have given us the opportunity to prove it via subpoena power. America is not France.
Ooh, this is where it gets interesting in the introduction. So the core claim, as you heard, is the theory that Brigitte Macron was born biologically a male. According to this theory, first circulated in French underground media back in late 2021, and maybe played a role in the Daily Wire getting rid of Candace Owens. They didn't want to get involved with that. Why is that? Candace Owens getting 3 million. This video here, right here, got like 3 million views. If you're a media company, why the hell would you not want somebody who's getting 3 million views talking about a very interesting topic? Obviously, it's interesting to a lot of people. You explain that to me. Against the algorithm, she's demonetized. So that means she's not getting any boost. She's not getting a boost like Shannon Sharp. His shows, his Cat Williams interview got 100 million. Candace Owens did an interview with Ye. They pulled it. Shannon Sharp, in my opinion, is getting algorithmic favor. He's at least over Candace Owens. He's not demonetized. So if you're demonetized, you get less views. All that in mind, 3 million views. Why would you not want that on your network? There's something else going on other than business. So so the allegations are that France's first lady was allegedly born as Jean Michel, no, Trognu. When you hear her talk about Jean Michel Trognu, that is who the allegations say is the person who calls themselves Brigitte Macron right now. Jean Michel Trognu is a male member of the Trognu family, Brigitte Macron's maiden name. And the allegations say, according to Candace Owens and Parliament.com and other sources, assumed a female identity later on in life. You would think they'd admit it. They'd be the rainbow warrior king and queen couple. Who knows? That might be coming. In plain terms, the rumor suggests that Brigitte Macron is transgender and has been lying about it for decades. And everybody around her is complicit in it, basically. How could they not know? I know it sounds crazy. On face value, it sounds like, are you crazy? Originally, these were dismissed as fake news, baseless slander by the French establishment. Brigitte Macron herself reportedly planned legal action back then against those who were talking about the rumor. The story was memory hold for a long time. Anybody repeating it was kind of called a crackpot. Fast forward to Candace Owens, 2024, she had entered the chat and she gave this controversial theory a second look. Joe Rogan has a joke out there when he did stand up, and he's not really the funniest guy, but he does have some jokes sometimes, and this one was good. Joe Rogan was like, before the pandemic, man, I thought the Jabberwocky, any Jabberwocky was good. I'm paraphrasing here. Before the pandemic, I thought the government would never do anything bad. They would never want anything bad to happen to us. He was like, after the pandemic, I believe in all the conspiracy theories. I believe that Michelle Obama has a member. I believe in Brigitte Macron, that she's not a woman. I believe every conspiracy theory. And that's kind of where I'm at. Let's get back to Candace Owens.
And the state of Tennessee sure as hell isn't Paris. So let me tell you why this story matters worldwide, okay? Because this is not just something that impacts Europe. It has international implications. For example, the unprecedented raid on Donald Trump's residence at Mar-a-Lago over documents that he had taken from the White House. You guys remember that, right? Check out this headline that was in The Guardian. Trump boasted that he had intelligence on Macron's sex life. Inventory of what was seized at Mar-a-Lago caused a transatlantic freakout between Paris and Washington. I'm sorry.
Did you really say transatlantic freakout? Is that really part of the story?
What? What could he have stumbled upon about Emmanuel Macron's sex life
He stumbled across a transatlantic freakout.
that would have caused a transatlantic panic? Here's a Rolling Stone headline to the same effect. It reads, Trump bragged that he had, quote unquote, intelligence on Macron's sex life.
Hmm.
The FBI seized a document with info on the French president during the Mar-a-Lago raid that has officials in both countries hunting.
Keep in mind, the president can take whatever documents they want when they leave office. That's why the transition of power is so sensitive and so important. The president, the power to classify documents in Washington, D.C. originates from the president. There is no process for the president to have to sign off and tell somebody he's taking documents. That is not how it works. He's the boss. He's the reason that you classify documents. He doesn't classify documents for anybody else. It's asinine take. So he might have some info on Macron, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave the Paris Climate Accords. I might need this. I'm hanging on to this.
For answers. Oh, okay. Why would you be stressed as a president? What were your tastes? And here's an excerpt from that Rolling Stone article because this really is incredible. Most people don't remember this. Okay, it reads. Then, of course, the mere revelation of its existence triggered a transatlantic freakout, according to two other sources familiar with the situation and Trump's prior talk about the Macrons' allegedly naughty ways that, quote, not very many people know, only intensified those concerns. Both French and US officials worked to figure out precisely what Trump had on Macron and France's government, and if any of it was sensitive in nature, the sources said. The officials in both nations wanted to know if this discovery signified some kind of a national security breach, or if it amounted to a frivolous but stolen keepsake. Oh, okay. You wouldn't be freaking out unless there was something to be freaking out about and that Trump actually had some intelligence that could ruin things.
How does this even ruin things? What does this change? Say Macron came out and said, you know what, the gig's up. We are what we are. What does it change? How does anything change? I mean, you could say that they lied or whatever, but does it really change? Do the people who think highly of Emmanuel Macron, would they change their mind? Do the people who don't like him, would they change their mind? Who's changing their mind based on this? But I think it's clear that Macron has skeletons in his closet. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to that, Macron. I think he has skeletons so explosive that even the hint of a leak would trigger crisis talks. Was it Brigitte's real identity or some other deviance? I don't know. But I think it pretty much shows us with the letter to Kansas, the freaking out of the transatlantic freakouts. That is crazy that that's the term. I think there's something to it. Candace Owens put it as the French president was terrified Trump might have intelligence that could ruin things. That's what she just said. When a leader has naughty secrets and that's on top of mind with Trump getting raided, I think there's a compromising double life that we might be looking at. There's more to look at here. Let's get back to Candace Owens.
Now I can remind you guys of the infamous Summer Olympics of 2024. Yeah, just last year, where the entire world watched as drag queens carried the Olympic torch and performed the opening ceremony. The Macrons, in my view, explicitly lied in their legal letter to me when they said that it was not mimicking the Last Supper. They said it was not satanic. Okay, here it is. Here is a side by side, because
So they put that in the letter to Candace Owens? Don't send me a letter about that. I can have whatever opinion I want. That's my opinion. I'm not justifying it. I don't need to defend it to you. That's my opinion.
as we unpack this series, you are going to see that do not believe your own eyes is a repeat Macron instruction, okay? There's a Last Supper. On the left, Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, and on the right, there are the Paris Olympics, okay? But even if you really didn't want to believe your own eyes, it would be reasonable to assume that we could at least believe the people who performed in the ceremony, right? The lead performer was a lesbian named Barbara Butch. And following the performance, here's what Barbara Butch posted on Instagram. She wrote, oh, yes, the new gay testament with an LGBTQ flag and a fist bump. And she tagged some other people in her community. Yeah, that would register to most people as satanic, an inversion of the New Testament. But after the backlash and after the producers of the Olympics had already confessed to Page Six that it was supposed to be Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, they attempted to backtrack and backpedal and officially claim it. Actually, it was a pagan feast that they were mimicking. But what escaped the public at large was the fact that Thomas Jolly, that was the artistic director of the performance, was handpicked to put this ceremony on in the presence of none other than First Lady Brigitte Macron, who went to see him back in 2022 at the premiere of his musical Starmania, which he produced. Emmanuel Macron, according to The Spectator at least, then personally ordered Jolly to outdo the London Olympics. So I want you guys to make no mistake, both he and his quote unquote wife were both intimately involved with the ceremony. As we unpack the story of Brigitte and Emmanuel, you are going to notice some strange recurring themes. That scandals related to pedophilia and transgenderism, incest, and sexual perversion just keep accidentally following them wherever they go. Parking aside the fact that even if you believed that Brigitte Macron was a woman, and I'm telling you she isn't, and you won't believe that by the time that we're done with this series, you would have to accept that her love story with Emmanuel Macron is completely unpalatable, okay? It begins when she was a 39-year-old drama teacher at La Providence School, and she saw a 14-year-old boy, Emmanuel Macron, perform in a play, and that was it. That just completely swept her off her feet. Okay, apparently a love story for the ages. By the way, that was one of many first red flags for me.
Yeah,
a 14-year-old boy and a 39-year-old woman. I'm sorry, this is not a thing. Okay, I'm 35. Do you know what a 14-year-old boy looks like? Boys don't even complete puberty until they're about 16 years old.
That's wild, man. That's wild. You're gonna have to go holler at Candace to figure this one out, man. I'm just a spectator like you. Candace is stirring the pot again, and she's got her supporters loving it. And I've been back and forth on Candace. Largely, I support and like Candace, but people are eating this one up. A fan on Facebook couldn't contain their excitement. I've been looking at the comments and stuff. Quote, someone said, yes, so much from our girl Candace. Hate for pedophile, hate for men parading as women, hate for lies. That's why we love her. Talk about wearing your heart on the sleeve. Candace Owens, she invokes a passion. Not everyone is buying what Candace is selling, though. I saw on Reddit, a user said, one of the most heinously moronic figures out there. Again, ad hominem, no substance. This person went on to say on Reddit, I've been on Reddit more often actually recently, saying there's only so much you can do while talking about the Walt Disney Corporation being pedophiles. Ouch, that's got to sting more than stepping on a Lego in the middle of the night. Okay, so they don't have much to say. Some conservatives, the conservative just means somebody who puts on a tiny hat figuratively or literally. They are distancing themselves. Andrew Bolt in an article said the right is not immune to idiocy. Lumped Candace Owens in with other figures that are controversial, suggesting that any conservative paying to see her is no conservative at all. It's almost like conservative doesn't have a term, doesn't have a meaning. I don't understand that. So Candace Owens has her cheerleaders. I'm cheerleading her right now with pom-poms and everything. She's got critics as well, ready to throw shade. It's a mixed bag, but this debate is far from over. We're going to do a lot of videos on this. I'm very interested in this one, man. Let me know what you think. This is, she's not going to stop.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.